Okay, well, I appreciate that everybody's here and ready to start. So I'm going to call the public meeting of Council Board Liaison Committee to order and welcome everyone this morning. We have switched hosting, as is our practice. The school district is hosting now. So I'll be chairing this morning. Just want to thank both our school district staff and city staff for working together to facilitate the Zoom and also the live streaming today and going forward. Can I get a motion to adopt the agenda? Norm, thank you. Trustee Councillor Au, thank you. Seconding, all in favor? Great, thank you. There are minutes attached to the agenda package from the Council Board Liaison. Thank you very much. Councillor Liu, seconded. Sorry, I had my head down.
Yeah,
right, I see Trustee Tablotny joining us. Trustee Tablotny, would you second? Yep, thank you very much. All in favor? Any questions or discussion on the minutes? Thanks, and we'll adopt those minutes. Moving to our standing items, we have a childcare update, and I believe we have city staff, Chris Duggan, to provide that update.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm here to provide a brief update on the status of our city childcare facilities. So we celebrated the opening of our River Run childcare facility in the Bridgeport neighborhood yesterday afternoon. This is a new facility that will provide 77 spaces of licensed childcare in that neighborhood and is operated by Atira Women's Resource Society. We were very pleased to have Minister Katrina Chen attend that event and provide us with some opening remarks as well. We also have 3 childcare facilities that are currently in development. All 3 are now under construction. The Sprouts Early Childhood Development Hub on Carscallon Road is very close to completion. We're anticipating that that facility will be open sometime later this spring. It will provide 77 spaces of licensed childcare, as well as community amenity space. That facility contains a commercial kitchen, both indoor and outdoor space that will be available for community programming related to family strengthening and support, as well as some indoor space, and that will be operated by the YMCA of Greater Vancouver.
Possible future expansion of utilizing vacant classrooms, but right now we're basically holding our own.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Okay, thanks very much. Can we have a motion to receive the verbal report for information?
So moved, Alexa.
Thank you, Councillor Liu. Trustee Tablotny, seconds. Everyone in favor? Thank you very much. Okay, we'll move to our next item. It's the Traffic Safety Advisory Committee. I'm just wondering if I hear some noise in the background, so if anyone's got noise and isn't speaking, if you can please put yourself on mute, thanks. Traffic Safety Advisory Committee, and there are minutes in the agenda, but we also have City of Richmond staff, Donna Chan, maybe to speak to these minutes and to this item.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So we had our first Traffic Safety Advisory Committee meeting on January 20th, virtually, and as you said, the package is in the minutes are in the package. At the meeting, RCMP representation was absent, but they will be attending in future and will be chairing future meetings. There was a change in the RCMP representative. He had moved to a new position in Surrey, and so we'll have a new chair at our future meetings. Although the committee hasn't met since before the pandemic started, work continued with the respective agencies on improving traffic safety. Details of that work will be presented at a report to council later this month, and we will present it at the next meeting for the council school board liaison. The January TSAC meetings, a few updates on issues related to the schools include there will be a new special pedestrian crosswalk on Shao Road at Thomas Kidd Elementary, and that's expected to be completed this spring. Community bylaws also indicated that staff are regularly patrolling the school zones and working with the school administration to address any vehicle parking issues around the schools. There is you probably know, but there's a new Richmond School Board member, Joel Canless, and he's replacing Michael Palmer, who has now retired. The RDPA has informed the committee that there are no traffic-related issues at this time from the various PACs. And there's 2 new pedestrian crossings at Shao Road that will be upgraded this spring, including one located across from Kidd Elementary School. That's it for my update. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much. Any questions or discussion? Okay, thank you. Then we will, I'll entertain a motion to receive the minutes for information. Councillor Au, and seconded to Councillor Liu. All in favor? Any opposed? Thanks, that's carried. Our next item is future agenda items. So just wondering if there's anything that folks would like to see on the agenda. So I'm sounding puzzled because normally I think this would come near the end of our agenda. It's here, so, and I just missed that it was here in the middle, but maybe we'll just leave it that, of course, you're always welcome to suggest future items, and feel free to let us know if you've got something to request. We'll move to item 4, business arising and new business. And we have a school district update, and that is some information on the school board's new strategic plan, which was just released this week. We're going to give a verbal update, and I'm going to ask our superintendent, Robinson, he's going to screen share some of what we have up on our website, so we can just give you a quick overview of this. So the board's been working on a new strategic plan. It's been in the works for quite some time. We engaged in quite a bit of consultation, beginning with our students. Really wanted the plan to be able to reflect students' perspectives, their priorities, obviously, for their education, what they want to see in the school district. So the strategic plan was approved by the board in December, and it has just been released publicly this week. It's up on our website, and there are a couple of, well, there's quite a bit of information on the website. What you're seeing here is one of the 2 documents that we have. We have a longer document, a brochure, and also one that has a lot of information about the district as well as the strategic plan embedded in it, and then another document available that it just focuses on the plan itself. So maybe if we could just go to the next page, I'll quickly highlight for you the strategic priorities that have been set. Yeah, this is the longer document. You'll see we've got some information, our mission, vision, and values, some basic information about the school district, and then we move to our strategic plan here. And we have set 5 strategic priorities. All right, I'm just going to look at my larger version here. And those priorities are inspired, and these aren't in any particular order, although I think number 1 probably is number 1. Inspired learners, equity and inclusion, optimized
for our employee health and wellness, and you know, really strengthening our workplace and becoming, and our HR practices. I think that we've really drilled down on that and made that, one of a stronger priority for the district, so that we're really, a good place to work, and that we have valuing our staff, so that then translates to, the education of our students and their well-being.
If I may, Madam Chair?
Yes, Trustee Goldstein.
Thank you. Another aspect of this plan is that we intentionally kept the plan to be, we felt, that the shortest we could, while maintaining the important objectives. And the advantage, of course, being that it's easier to focus on the implementation and to have realizable goals. And so from my experience, when the plans have been involved with over the years, this is one of the most, if not the most promising, in my view, for being actually realizable, and where there will be metrics for a sufficiently small but focused goals that are achievable.
Thank you, Trustee Goldstein. I might also just add that in our equity and inclusion work, there is a new and renewed focus on anti-racism with our new anti-racism working group, and that will be a key focus for us in that category too. Great. I think we can maybe leave the screen share. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much for the answers. And I always know and appreciate that the school district is a leader in inclusion and equity. Yeah, that's very exciting. Thank you.
Any other comments? Thanks very much. And yeah, we look forward to, of course, hearing any feedback you have on the plan as we work towards at least looking in the shorter term on sort of the concrete goals and details, and we're continuing our work on that. Our next item is hub cycling, item 4.2, and we have an overview of the cycling education program from the Director of Bike Education, Ms. Gardner. Welcome.
Yes, thank you. Oh, perfect. I saw you've just allowed me to share my screen. Thank you. There we go. Is that showing up for everyone? Perfect. Well, thank you so much for inviting me to come today and speak a little bit about what's been happening in Richmond schools as far as cycling education. As I mentioned, I'm Rose, the Director of Bike Education for Hub Cycling. You can see a picture of me there with my little one, who's not yet of school age, but we're getting there. Hub Cycling, if you're not familiar with us, is Metro Vancouver cycling education, events, and action, not-for-profit charity organization. So we've been around for over 20 years and on a mission to get more people cycling more often. I'm really excited to discuss a little bit about, just share a little bit about the program that we've been running in Richmond schools, briefly share some outcomes, what happened in 2020, and then our plans for 2021, and how you might be able to help or become involved if you're so interested. Please feel free to ask questions at any point, or I'll also share my contact information at the end for any follow-up. And my apologies if I'm not using all the right words and language for these kinds of meetings. It's one of my first ones. So with that, I'll jump right into it. So the program and the course that we've been offering to Richmond schools is called Ride the Road. It's an immersive bike safety education in Richmond targeted towards grade 6 and 7 students. So that roughly translates into about 4 classes per school, where the course is split into 5 different units. They're approximately 1 hour each for each class, and it can be spread over 5 days in a week or several weeks. We bring bikes and helmets for those students that don't have their own or that aren't able to transport them to school that day, but we also ask any students that have their own bikes to bring them with them. The course in its standard format is led by certified and trained hub instructors for the duration. So teachers are there to support the program, but all the content and curriculum is led by our instructors. And we only ask for the students to complete some pre and post surveys just to understand the kind of knowledge and behavior change that we're seeing, and then a post-course quick online survey from any teachers that are participating or administrators, just to help us gauge and gain feedback on the program. So the 5 units are roughly, we have a mix of theory and on-bike sessions. So you can see our first one there is sort of a theory-based in-class previously session, sometimes performed outside. Our second session is bike maintenance, where students who are able to bring their bikes, bring them in to get tuned up and ensure they're in good working order for future sessions. Our third unit is the school grounds cycling skills, where on the school grounds they're practicing basic bike control and new maneuvers, so that later on during the 5th unit, they're able to go on a neighborhood road ride, which is a pre-planned route where we work with very small groups with one instructor to maximum 6 students, just to navigate some common infrastructure and scenarios around their school. In between that, there's also a unit that engages students with the various rules of the road in a friendly trivia competition. So that's the basic of a standard program. Some of the outcomes we've seen, these are from 2020. So school staff report very strong outcomes, very positive responses from the parents that they hear about, from their own involvement, rated 5 out of 5 stars for the quality of the education. And then we do collect a variety of information from the students themselves. But some exciting ones we saw just last year were that students around Metro Vancouver reported about a 42% increase in days riding per week after the course, as opposed to from before. So in 2020, we had a great year planned, as I'm sure all of you did, to provide this course with the support of the City of Richmond to schools throughout Richmond, elementary schools throughout Richmond. So in 2019, this course was offered to 4 schools. And then in 2020, the City of Richmond increased that funding to be able to provide this course to all schools in the City of Richmond, all 38 elementary schools, over the course of 2 years. Unfortunately, due to obviously closures and other challenges, we were able to offer it and had 4 schools sign up during our short fall season. So we had Maple Lane Elementary, James Gilmore, Homa, and Westwin all participated. In response to the changing conditions at schools, we also developed a new online course and blended delivery model for the theory-based portions, and offered several different options to suit school circumstances and changing protocols. So we were very excited to see that this program still worked for many schools in the City of Richmond, despite the ongoing challenges that they were facing throughout the fall. And we were also running it in 7 different school boards throughout Metro Vancouver, plus some courses in the Central Okanagan and Victoria. We also had a delayed Bike to School week in September, late September, with 71 schools in Metro Vancouver, 4 in Richmond participating. So you can see 354 youth participated. So our plan for 2021 is, again, we have that really exciting funding from the City of Richmond to help support their goals, and hopefully your own school board strategic goals as well, around new technologies and equity, to offer this program for up to 19 Richmond elementary schools, which roughly translates into almost 2,000 students. We are again providing a standard and blended course options so that the entire course can be taught outdoors and online. So there's no need for our instructors to even visit the inside of the schools. We're also launching a new teacher-led online course for the theory units. So previously students were running through the online course individually with an individual sign-in, but some teachers requested if their students don't have access to individual tech themselves, the teachers can run through it with their class with some supportive worksheets and answer keys. We're also really excited to see the continued support from the Ministry of Transportation and Infrastructure on a new program that was just piloted last year called Everyone Rides Grade 4-5. And we hope to see possibly a few courses in Richmond, and those are a shorter course targeted to grade 4 and 5 students that will be expanding throughout all of British Columbia. For schools that aren't eligible to receive our program, we also have continued access to a short cycling safety online course that teachers can enroll their classes, or individual students and parents can enroll their children. And then
in general, we do try and discourage parents from driving their kids to school through walk to school programs or biking programs. There are still going to be cars on those roads regardless during those peak hours. We do have we are embarking on an update of the cycling network plan that's more general. It's not so specific to the neighborhoods, but it is looking at the overall citywide improvements for cycling. Hopefully that can address some of your concerns. In terms of the neighborhoods themselves, I think it's very localized, a localized issue, because not all neighborhoods have the same concerns. They're all set up differently. But we address them right now. We're addressing them as issues arise. We hear back from RDPA, from some of the schools themselves, and we work closely with the principals on issues and tackle them as best we can. There are limitations, obviously, what you said, there's not a lot of room. They're trying to squeeze a sidewalk where one doesn't exist, or an area for cyclists. But we are looking at different measures in different neighborhoods, including possibly reducing the speeds and putting more focus on alternate modes.
If I could just jump in, we don't have a lot of new neighborhoods coming in, certainly, because we're generally built out. But if you do look at the new Lansdowne Master Plan, there's been a huge focus on creating those multi-use paths, proper walking paths, and then like getting your cars into different areas and slowing them down, doing other things. So there is a definite look at some of these things. And there's also a look at changing how the bike lanes go. So there is a new plan for how we are going to build bike lanes. So, I don't know if any of you have ever tried riding up or down number 3 road between, say, Westminster Highway and Sea Island. I'm a type A person. I love adrenaline. I started riding my bike down it from Costco down 3 road, and I actually got off on Capstan and went down River Road because I was like, it's too much, can't do it. So we are looking at changing those up, ripping out the sidewalks eventually and putting new ones in. All the new developments are having the new proper separated multi-use path, like bike lane, multi-use path, and then still having proper sidewalk. And same thing in front of like Granville, in front of the Minoru Center for Active Living. There's been a lot of thought on how we're going to separate traffic, cars, and pedestrians from each other, and so that you don't have the conflict. Because in many cases, we want the slow multi-use paths within the parks for the slow cyclists, the more casual cyclists, and then the people who are more the Peloton type riders, commuter riders. We do want them sort of separated differently and still able to get around quickly, so that it's efficient to get to work and to get to school for those riders.
Thank you very much for both of you for the information.
Okay. Is there any other? Trustee Tablotny, thanks. Sorry about that.
Hi. Yeah, well, thanks for the presentation, and I think it's a great program. And to Trustee Goldstein's question, I think the greatest defense and safety is, to have well-educated students on the bike safety. And yes, number 3 road and Steveston Highway are the 2 places that I would not go on my bike, but I do a lot of biking, and and so I think this program is fantastic. And I'm wondering though, what is there for parents? Because I know, I hear from a lot of people that have never ridden a bike, and their kids are riding, but the parents, it would be great if they can enjoy it with their kids and be safe as well. Because I do see a lot of riders on sidewalks and things like that, which can be unsafe. So I'm just wondering what is there for parents? Do you include information for parents when you're, teaching the kids in their program?
I can speak to that. Yes, the amount of information that goes home to parents is quite limited. It generally just consists of a parent letter to notify them about what's going on. Our hope is that often we hear anecdotally that students get so excited about cycling and the program, and the bikes come out of the garage and get dusted off, that the families themselves become inspired to ride more together, or the kids are like, hey, I just learned all these things. Can we go try it out on the weekend? And so in past years, we have offered a course as well called Family Streetwise. And that is a course for families to come together and learn some of the same skills that the students will be learning in their Ride the Road course. It's a 3-hour combination of a theory and similar practice road ride around the neighborhood. We had hoped to provide those kind of courses again in the future, but there's a lot of uncertainty, as you know, this year. Generally, we partner with a community center to help launch those, and with the uncertainty around what kind of programming they're going to be offering this summer, it's uncertain whether or not that will occur. But in the future, there has been strong support from the City of Richmond for those kinds of courses to happen throughout the summer and to be made available for other families. And if if there's something coming up in the local area around that school, then that's the kind of information we can also provide to the parents when our programs are happening. That being said, we also have various programs just for adults. Last year, we ran a series of Biking with Children 1-hour webinars that are available to any adults or parents who want to come and learn a little bit more about how to get started, and we'll be continuing to offer those as well this summer.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you to the city. We're really grateful for your expansion of the funding to expand the program, to reach more schools, reach more students, and really hope that we can ramp up this year, as was the vision for 2020. It's great to hear how you've adapted, and we can actually offer the whole course outside and online if that's desired. And hopefully, as the situation for our schools improves, we can get this program really jump started. And we're happy to help. So
Yep.
I think it's been really helpful to hear what can we do to support the program. And beyond the staff support and having a direct link, we're happy to get the word out as much as we can and do what we can to amplify the message and support it, and also look at how we can increase getting information to families through the schools about the program.
Great, thank you.
I have a quick question to Rose or to us, to the city staff. Okay, now would you educate people about the kinds of bikes being allowed to be run on streets? I've seen all kinds of bikes, 2 wheels, 3 wheels, electrical, semi-electrical, all kinds. So, do you educate people, which are the ones that we allowed?
Yes, Habit definitely keeps on top of all the current legislation, and we do have some positions around, especially the evolving electric bike market, and we're working with the province and various municipalities to provide advice and support on what kinds of devices we're seeing out there and where we feel they should best be positioned or allowed through various bylaws. We do our best to educate people on what are the specific rules at the time, but many of them are evolving, and we're hoping to see some changes with new Motor Vehicle Act legislation education being updated currently with the province and elsewhere. So yeah, that, and also balancing that with the, okay, this is what the infrastructure looks like, this is the situation, how can you, what behaviors can you take that are evidence-based to keep yourself the most safe? So we really focus on that kind of education piece. Does that answer your question, or
Yes, thank you. Yeah.
Sorry, through Trustee Nixon to Councillor Au. I just want to add that we will be bringing a report forward to Council in the near future regarding e-scooters as soon as the province amends their legislation on that. And perhaps that could help clarify some of the confusion on what's allowed and what's not allowed on the roads.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to, it's a great discussion, and I'm going to move us along to our next item, which is Education Week. This is something that that the school district puts on each year. It will be looking a little bit different this year. We have a memo from our Director of Communications and Marketing, Mr. David Sadler. And Mr. Sadler, you're here today. You can just provide us with a bit of highlights from your report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Education Week will be held Monday, February 22nd to Friday, February 26th, 2021. Education Week is an opportunity to openly share the many remarkable things happening in Richmond schools. This year, due to the current public health orders, the district will be using virtual platforms to highlight the work of students, teachers, and staff. Potential benefits to a virtual format include increased access, equity, and opportunity for all students. Both students in school and in transitional learning will have the opportunity to contribute. There will be an increased range of participation options because teachers and students will be able to share a greater variety of their work that they are engaged with in the classroom. There will also be an increased opportunity for students to share their learning in different formats, including written word, photos, video, and audio. Additionally, there will be a direct connection to the curriculum through the lens of the strategic plan. Each day of the week, the district will highlight school and classroom learning based on the following strategic priorities and goals. On Monday, February 22nd, we will focus on learning through inquiry. On Tuesday, February 23rd, we will focus on global citizenship and sustainability. On Wednesday, February 24th, we will focus on equitable and inclusive learning communities. On Thursday, February 25th, we will focus on Indigenous perspectives. And on Friday, February 26th, we will focus on learning through the arts.
So we should be able to move very quickly. We don't have to pull a bunch of people together, which is great. As far as the support model, and this is what I love having the child and youth mental health teams, and to me, this is completing much of the circle of support for children and youth. The Foundry model is a go-to, that the client or the youth go to Foundry. So we call that inbound, that the youth are coming to the support. Whereas the integrated teams, the clients or the youth go, the teams go to the client or the youth, and that is outbound. And between the two, they'll work very closely together on how they support youth, and there will be some transitioning back and forth between them based on the needs of the children or youth. Foundry, I'll back up a little bit. So both programs are integrated and multidisciplinary, and it's continuity of care and what they call a step care. So if I go to Foundry as a youth and I present with something and then my mental health deteriorates, I don't have to go somewhere else. It'll automatically be stepped up. I get support there, I'm stabilized, things are better. I step down and I don't need that. So it cuts out quite a bit of the referrals and wait times. And it's a handover, it's not a referral to. So families, children, and youth would be taken to someplace. It's not given, here's a card, you have a appointment 4 weeks from now in a nondescript building somewhere else in Richmond that smells like a hospital, and it's not very inviting for children or youth. It's a much different program there. Clientele, Foundry is adolescents, youth, and so their target is age 12 to 24. right now there's a little uncertainty on the child and youth teams that it might be birth to 19, or it might be age 5 to 19, or they might just go K to 12. And that's all students in both the Richmond School District and any other private. So all school district and educational authority students enrolled in those would be able to receive these services. So I've already mentioned that Foundry has got a forever home. That will probably take a year to a year and a half for planning and renovations. And for the teams, we're in initial phases of planning there, but we just received confirmation that Richmond will have 4 teams. And I'll talk in a minute about who are in those teams, but we will need to see how that's going to be split up. And each of those teams will be assigned to every public and other educational authority, educational institutions, so that all private and public schools will be provided support. Mentioned a little bit about the funding before. Basically the integrated teams are an enhancement or an add of service to our schools, but our partners in health and mental health and substance use, it's a change. And so it's going to be more challenging for them on how they share information and how they operate and et cetera, and where they operate. But for us, it's more of an add. And one of the initial pieces of the planning will be a gap analysis. Where are the gaps? What do we need in Richmond? And so we are going to have, as I said, 4 teams. The key people in each of the 4 teams, that there will be a clinical coordinator, and that will be a Vancouver Coastal Health employee. There will be a mental health clinician, at least one. There'll be at least one substance use worker. There'll be at least one educational counselor, which is a new position. We don't even have that job description yet, and that position will be funded, fully funded, in perpetuity. We're told that this is not a 5-year plan. So these 4 FTE will be funded by the province going forward. And then there will also be, and there's some variations on how this might look, support workers for our Indigenous community, youth, and parents. So that's also a difference on how we are supporting our families. From a school district perspective, our mandate is to support our students. And informally, sometimes there's some small little support going to the families, but primarily it goes to the students. These teams will be helping the entire family. So that's pretty much it. The integrated teams, we're hoping will be operating in the fall, and that we are going to try to have these education counselors positions ready for posting and filling in May and June. So I went pretty fast through that, but I'm more than happy to answer any questions.
Thank you so much, Mr. Stewart. That was a really comprehensive report. It gives us I think, a really good picture of what's happening in terms of support in Richmond right now. Some really, I think, really positive developments. Any questions or discussion from the committee? Trustee DeBlotny?
Yeah, no questions. I think it's, that this is really helpful to have a more fulsome report on the boundary, and it sounds like the additions of those FTE that are going to work with the families. I think that's going to be a really good addition, because when there are problems with the child, there's also a family that's trying to figure things out. So I think that's really important. So I'm glad to see that that's going to be a new focus. I think that'll be great. So great program. can't wait to see it get, you know, really off the ground. So,
Thanks.
thanks.
Any other questions, comments?
If I could,
I would.
Chair.
Mm.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Just
Yeah,
saying
go ahead.
that in we are having 2 major meetings provincially in by the end of the month, and so I would be hopeful that in April that we could provide even more information on where we're at and how some of these will pan out, and especially the years of support. So the birth to 4 is right now, we're not sure about that, but it would definitely be K to 12. And then the K to 12 includes 19-year-olds. And what's nice there is the bulk of mental health support for youth and children, actually numbers-wise, is in that about age 15 to 18, plus or minus. That's where the bulk of the support goes.
Right. Yeah, thank you. Recognizing that both of these initiatives are in the early stages, I appreciate that the child and youth integrated teams are going to, that one of the goals is to see how they can become, adapt to the specific context of each municipality that they're located in. So, and really encouraged to hear about the handover, what you're calling the handover that paradigm. So having directly experienced in the past working with that system of support and what you describe as the referrals to to some other location that's brand new, and you're just sort of knocking on the door or ringing the buzzer to try to get in. And so I think it sounds like very clearly in the design of these programs that those people making the decisions have heard some of the experiences, and it also feels, I agree, really much more wraparound. So I just see this all as really encouraging, and any support we can provide, we're happy to do that.
If I may add, the one piece is one of the biggest efforts is that child, youth, and their families tell their story once. And they don't, every time they go to the next step, they don't have to tell their story. And the other piece, because the referrals into that initial support by the clinicians, mental health clinicians, et cetera, that the wait time now to see a mental health clinician in Richmond is about 8 weeks. And that's for anyone who's not in danger of self-harm. That wait time could be reduced to almost 0. And then you have the same amount of wait time if more extensive support, for example, support from a psychiatrist. That wait time is the same, but where you're reducing it is that initial contact and getting into the system. And where the big change will happen in health and mental health is they will be sharing information all through, and information will get to the right people much faster. And keeping within privacy, schools or district staff will get information faster where appropriate.
Thanks very much for your report. And can I have a motion to receive the report from Mr. Stewart for information? Trustee Tablatny, seconded Councillor Au. All in favor? Any opposed? Thanks. That's carried. And that takes us to the end of our agenda. We do have a next meeting date scheduled for Wednesday, April the 14th. I have a motion to adjourn. And we'll move to our other
Move adjournment.
Thank you, Councillor Liu, seconded Trustee Tablatny. All in favor? No, none opposed? Thanks, that's carried. Thank you.